Hello, beautiful people. Come on in. Join us for Horror on a Sunday. We are back with our KillerCon live horror panel, which it's been a little hiatus, not a huge hiatus. We were here in December to discuss the decline of teen slasher. So if you missed that, please make sure you go back and check the replay. And if you are excited for us to be back with our horror panel and you want to see more of our horror panel, then you know exactly what you need to do. And if you don't know, let me educate you. That's right. Support or die. So if you enjoy the horror conversation, the live horror panel, then make sure you support, which means do all the things. Comment down below on the video. Keep the chat active. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you are subscribed and join the channel memberships. Just do all the things in support of the channel and the live horror panel. And I am not here by myself, so make sure you also support our panelists. We are streaming on 3 platforms right now, 3 channels. If you are over at A Night of Horror, or if you are over at Struggle Review TV or Sister Girl on Film, thank you so much for being here. And make sure you support whoever channel you are on, and also just support all of the panelists. So make sure you get everything together, okay? And you know what? This is Sunday. So you know what you got to do on a Sunday. You got to dig down for the collection plate, okay? So make sure you support, super chat, do all the things so that we can get into the discussion of politics in horror. But speaking of my panelists, let me go ahead and bring them up. No stranger to the horror panel. And actually, you just saw us here yesterday, last night. Y'all, please give a warm welcome, a warm horror welcome to my girl, Sister Girl on Film. Are you ready to talk about politics plus horror?
I am. Today has been a very sleepy Sunday, so my energy is like mid. So I think it's perfect though to talk about politics and horror though. So I'm excited.
Well, your heart rate might come up a little bit as we get into a few of these topics. And of course, y'all know we have to have my girl, the regular co-host that you will always see on the horror panel, Tyra of Struggle Reviews TV. Tyra, are you ready to get into the horror of politics?
All my life. Absolutely.
So shout out to everybody that is in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. But let's go ahead and let you know what we are doing in our last segment today. We will get into our viewers' choice segment. So as we are going through our slides and our topics and our discussions, if there's a particular question that you want for the panelists, if there's a particular horror versus, whatever you want the panel to discuss or go over, or maybe you just have a certain opinion, make sure you super chat your $4.99 super chat for our viewer choice segment.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton?
did you feel when I told you our topic today would be politics and horror? Is that really like a horror subgenre that you really like to get into when it has like a political theme to the movie?
Not particularly, no. No. I think for the majority of the time, like I said, when you think of it now, you often think of those Purge movies and some of the movies now, but I think more so political horrors were a time of the 70s and the 80s, and maybe not so much in that like now. I think diversity. A lot of the movies now, they're kind of, I don't think there's any subtlety to it. It's just kind of in your face, and we're not trying to cover facets of political themes. It's just constant. The government is watching, hide your kids, hide your wives. There's something going down, it's going to be a purge around here. The price of eggs are high, like, all of those things. But yeah, I like more so the scientific political situations, like, my faves, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, or something like that, but not so much what we're getting currently. I guess what we would consider a political horror, like how many times we gonna go to the White House. I want that.
Listen.
And I feel like that's really what I feel like a lot of people, I feel like we have to get into what's all up under the umbrella of political horror, because I feel like a lot of people feel like you, Tyra, where, and that is because of like our current landscape with, and I hate to say no creativity, because we have a lot of creativity in horror, but we are lacking some creativity when it comes to politics in horror and the political themes we can cover. So when we are talking about political themes and politics in horror, it is not just elections like the Purge, and it's not just the White House, it's not just the president. Politics in horror, political themes in horror include social commentary, feminism, socialism, capitalism, religion, gentrification, the military, consumerism. Like, it is a huge, it's a lot under there. And I will add the white saviors. Okay, that's gonna be political when you put in some white saviors. So I feel like there's so much under the umbrella of politics in horror. And yes, I feel like when people hear it, they immediately just think of elections. Now, when it comes to political themes in horror, we know, Tyra, you already told us you like the more scientific type of approach, where I would say Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 50s, the 70s one, it covers so many political themes. My personal favorite political themes to be covered in horror, the military is evil. When you get into movies like The Crazies, The Blob, even 28 Days Later, I feel like anytime the military show up, baby, they evil and they is not here for the citizens. Like, that's one of my favorite little political themes to see in horror, as well as consumerism. I love anything with consumerism, and I'm surprised we don't get more consumerism based horror. Like movies like The Stuff is the one that pops in my head from like the 80s, even though that creator said that his film is more satire, less horror, but it is considered a horror comedy. But consumerism might be my number one favorite, because I feel like it speaks to me, because I like to have as little as possible. I don't like to have stuff. And I feel like we just as humans get very bogged down and consumed with stuff, and like the marketing of stuff, like the science behind all of that is really interesting. Sister girl,
Yes,
do you
yes.
have any political themes that are your favorite in horror, or do you just not like to come to horror for any type of political themes?
I tend, if I'm going to watch any like politically charged horror, I enjoy it to be like the elite getting their just due. So anything where it's like called out that the rich are like attacking or trying to get the poor, I'm all in, because I believe it wholeheartedly. So it feels kind of cathartic to see, someone be harmed in some way because they're doing harm to others. So I tend to like gravitate towards those, but only if it's done in a very creative way. But when it's like heavy-handed, you're gonna lose me every time, because I don't want to be preached to, but I do want to be entertained with a message.
Right. Shout out to Dane C with the $2 super chat for Nikki's changing her hair every live for Yo, black women spend a lot of money on our hair, so I appreciate that, Dane. Shout out to you. but I feel like I kind of teeter on different lines when you talk about a movie being heavy-handed, because I will say, now a movie being heavy-handed and preachy doesn't bother me as an audience, but it does bother me in the sense that I think that's just bad writing. But we actually did a watch along of They Live, me and Sister Girl. So if you haven't, check out that. And as much as I love that movie is not subtle.
Yeah.
They Live is not subtle. And even down to one thing that I had pointed out is when you put the shades on and you can see the reality, when you look at money, it literally says, "This is your God." The billboard that says "procreate, marry," like, it's not subtle. It's very in your face. Now, I wouldn't say it's preachy though, but I do feel like it's heavy handed. So I don't think that's necessarily always bad, but it depends on the creator, because it works for They Live. It doesn't always work. But there has been a lot of conversation about politics has no place in horror, and celebrities shouldn't speak on politics, which is weird because y'all appointed the man from Apprentice as the president, but you don't want celebrities to speak on politics. So I came across this article that I really loved about politics and horror. And this one excerpt I thought was really good. Horror is supposed to push and prod at moral boundaries and social mores, confront personal and society taboos, to make us uncomfortable, to make us think about why we're made to be uncomfortable. The story that ultimately ends with a triumphant return of the status quo isn't doing its job. And I feel like that's really what horror is about to me. If you ask me, I really feel like I can find a political theme in every single horror movie I watch. Like, literally every single solitary horror movie, there's some type of social commentary, some type of reflection of the times. And I feel like typically when people say, "Oh, I don't like politics and horror, I just want a mindless horror movie," you could be enjoying a mindless horror movie and just not really peeping that there is absolutely something political in just about every horror movie that you watch. And I kind of feel like that's kind of the purpose of horror. So, Tyra, how do you feel about people who feel like, they have the argument politics has no place in horror?
It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a bold-faced lie. It's not a horror movie that you're going to watch that doesn't have some type of politics in it. It's just whether or not, like you said, it's overtly in your face or if it's just really, really subtle. Everything has politics in it. Like, I think if we're just trying to be literal about it, I don't think there's anything more terrifying than like the state of affairs in like the current world today. Like, a monster is a monster, a vampire. Like, for me, horror has always been escapism. You like to get into the otherworldly, have a good time, turn your brain off. These things don't actually exist. You don't have to worry about Nosferatu coming down sucking necks. But what's more terrifying than the state of the president or the state of, natural order and things that are going on? And like I said, eggs are high. It's just really, really high. So when you get to implementing those things like gentrification, consumerism, what are things, feminism, things that you can't really turn your brain off from, it gives you a reflective space in the horror because you're like, this could really happen. How long before it actually happens? The ones that are more so from the 70s and 80s, some of them, you can have callbacks to, oh, remember that one time they said that in that film years ago, and now it's actually happening. Like, we need to pay attention and wake up. They know something. They always leaving these Easter eggs behind. Like, it's always some realism there. Like, I believe there is no horror without the politics. Actually, you need both.
I completely agree. Shout out to Dane C. $2 for the Nikki finally doing another KillerCon fun. Look, y'all better take a page out of Dane C. book if y'all want me to keep bringing KillerCon back. Let's show up and support. Shout out to you, Dane. I mean, it's here as long as the people want it to be here, as long as the people are supporting. Dane C. $2 for the Ashley missing fun.
Everything's fun.
Shout out to you, Dane C. And I just kind of feel like I'm trying to think what way to say this without being like, but I kind of just feel like the politics have no place in horror. It's just a really dense argument. Like, horror is politics. Politics is horror. I feel like just the politics of being humans in the modern society, like there's just so much that encompasses. Um, Sister girl, how do you feel about the argument that politics has no place in horror? Because really what popped this off was Damien Leone's recent comments about Terrifier isn't political. Even though he made his final girl Jesus Christ with the crown of
Right.
thorns, he says that movie is not political. So that really sparked a lot of discourse of people on either side of that argument. And it was a lot of people who said politics has no place in horror. How do you feel about that argument?
Um, I I agree. I don't agree with that either. I feel like politics in general is just it can be daunting, and sometimes it can be uncomfortable to address some of the realities of society. And so if you can do that through a creative lens, especially through horror, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think if anything, it's a safe way to kind of express your views when it comes to certain topics, in a way that might feel uncomfortable, especially to those that don't agree with your view. And so I think that might be a lot of it. If people feel like they're going to see something for entertainment and to feel like it's just mindless, but then they're forced to kind of face their own demons. That's a personal thing, baby. Like, do the work, journal. I don't know what to tell you, but you can watch zombies and still think, okay, well, how does this relate to my everyday life? And do I need to do some internal work because I am the villain in real life?
And it's so interesting you said zombies because I feel like 9 out of 10 zombie movies have a political edge or theme to them.
Yes.
Tyra, do you feel like you need to agree with the movie's political theme in order to find it entertaining or enjoy it?
No. You know how many movies I disagree with? A lot of stuff I don't like. I love the film, but I hated the message. Like, I think that's asinine. Like, oh, is this what we are? Is this what we are? Like all of that's right over there with I'm never listening to Step in the Name of Love again because R. Kelly. I'm looky here. I'm a step, okay? I'm a step. There's a way to separate things. Everything doesn't have to be black and white. I really don't have time or the patience for it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I feel like that's one of the reasons why we get these arguments now of like politics has no place. It's because I feel like people are very in their box of if it's not my political view, then I don't want the movie to, go there. But I completely agree with you. And I just feel like that's just for me a movie buff or like you're going to see so much. And I especially feel like being black, like you're gonna see so many movies that literally you're like, yeah, nah, it's a no. Is this the message? Is this the moral of the story? But you can still find it entertaining and enjoy it for what it is. And I mean, all the people that we're covering Lovecraft Country Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all the people that go up for Lovecraft, baby, it's a lot of them books that I would hope we ain't all agreeing with. So you can definitely separate what you believe, for me personally, from a movie that I'm watching and enjoying. And let's get into black plus horror equals political. Y'all know that they're getting rid of diversity and inclusion. And we done took and not we because I didn't, but done took the word woke and perverted it to me. Anytime you just see a Negro, oh, that's woke, that's woke. Oh my God, it's woke. And I actually said this to Tyra and Sister Girl earlier this week that I personally think every single solitary black horror movie or horror movie with the black person is political. Even Killjoy. Killjoy is political because they in the hood. JD's Revenge is political because he was a criminal, and a black man plus criminal equals political. Tyra, is black horror always political?
First of all, you going down that hill alone with Killjoy. I am not playing with you and Killjoy being political. I'm just not. Unfortunately, yes. Where we can say that many aspects of horror, like there's always some type of air of political, like it's like really heavy handed with us. And that's because majority of our horrors revolve around race. If it's not race, then it's the current state of living. Like you said, majority of the time we in the hood. I don't know why we always over there, but that's what we be. That's what we be. And then when you get into that, it gets political because often when we're getting the place setting of the hood, it's about us doing what we have to do to get up out of the hood, or they're gentrifying the neighborhood. The cost of living is too high. We got to get up out of here. We need to make a way and keep it head above water. All of those things. That's always going to be there. So it's always political. I just wish that we got a little bit more diversity. I shouldn't be able to clock like, okay, my loves. I'm like, right, we got a black horror. Who is it? We gonna go to the hood. Our lead is gonna be a black woman, and she gonna have some knotless braids, because that's just she gonna have some boho twists and some knotless braids, and she gonna be trying to get out the hood. Like, it's just, I'm trying to provide. It's just, unfortunately, it just has not changed. I feel like once upon a time, like when we can get into something like the people under the stairs that like set a precedent for something to be really political, or Night of the Living Dead, where you have Dwayne, and it's like, it's just, we got the best man for the role. It wasn't written for a black character. He showed that in the end. He got tossed in that pile, didn't he? Just those things being really political and making statements, it probably set a precedent. And it was like, wow, we never seen anything like this before. We never seen, someone like Fool in the neighborhood being gentrified, and the slum lords, and mama got cancer, and we try to make a way out. Yeah, those things were maybe fresher then. When you see them now, it's just kind of like, it's kind of expected. But yeah, it's always there, and I don't think it's going anywhere.
Yeah, because, and it's interesting you talk about Night of the Living Dead, because he was, it wasn't written for a black man, but that movie is absolutely political. And that's what I'm like, anytime first of all, I just feel like being black sometimes is political. Like, if you're a black person in a certain space, it's political. If we get to the end of Night of the Living Dead, that was absolutely a lynch mob.
Yeah.
Like, that whole sequence that they give us at the end, that collage, it would give you a completely different messaging if that lead would have been white. You know what I mean? Like, just the fact that he's black, it completely changes the tone. Even him going head to head with the white guy downstairs, like, it gives a completely different nuance and angle with the character being black. Sister girl, is Killjoy political?
Well, let's be clear. I've never watched Killjoy, and I don't plan to ever. If I'm not mistaken, isn't it just like a black version of it, kind of, to some degree?
Yeah.
So I can't. But based on the synopsis I know of it, I wouldn't call it political, because I don't know what the political statement would be in there. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of social things, because you got black folks in the hood.
So I think that's where I struggle in terms of thinking something being political versus something being social commentary. I feel like sometimes the lines can get a little blurred for me, because I'm like, sometimes when I think of things being political, I think of like specifically like policy, like actual like government influence things, which I understand, like socio-economic things are the result of policy. Like, I get that 100%, but in my brain it's hard for me to connect that with certain themes, because I can say that something like Tales from the Hood is social commentary, but I struggle with the idea of it being political, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for me, social is under the umbrella of politics. Like, any social commentary to me is political. Like, feminism is political.
Him in the little, what was it, the councilman living in the house, the old plantation, covering himself with the flags as the old, remnants of the slaves, and the dolls attack him. Like, it gives it a political aspect. I think every single one of those stories have a political aspect.
Yeah, absolutely, every single one. I just personally kind of feel like it's very rare that you can name a black horror movie and I don't think it's political. Like, it's extremely, like, and I feel like I can't really think of none. If it's a Negro, it's political.
Category. I mean, is Nope political? Nope was.
I can't even tell you what Nope is about, so I can't answer
Well,
that.
I mean, it's not. We can't, because it's us getting more into the aspect of like an alien. That's where it kind of separates itself, because we can't. There are political things in Us. Get Out. I sent you a whole bunch of them. I was like, yeah, these all.
And I was like, all political.
Yeah. See, I felt like Spell, that wasn't, to me, that wasn't political. The Deliverance, well, no, I take that back. Deliverance, because it had to deal with like CPS and all that stuff. But yeah, so that might be. I think it's few and far in between. I think there are some that try, but if you try to put in the variable of location, of like they're living in impoverished or poor neighborhood as the caveat, then yes, then technically, if all black horror would be political. But I think about like Spell, it's about witchcraft and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah, that's a good one. Spell that you got one. Y'all got one on the board. It would be Spell, but social economics is absolutely political. It's just like in They Live when they had that it was illegal for those homeless people to make that camp. That's political. Like even though that's about their economic status but it's also the policy and the laws that are made to kick the homeless people out and like the no loitering laws. Like all of that stuff is under the umbrella of politics.
No, Death by Temptation was not political. It was a succubus.
and see, I was thinking about Death by Temptation too, but then I've heard theories that it tackles like AIDS and HIV in the black community, and then I was like, if that is true,
tackles is a strong word.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I mean, because the one kill she had with the husband that was cheating, I think he ended up getting HIV or AIDS. Like that was.
Well, no, I don't think he actually did. It was just kind of like threaded in there with, I've given you something that you can't never give back. But of course, it was something from her being this succubus and this entity, and I'm breaking you down and you're gonna fall apart before you ever hit the door. But it really had strong themes of HIV and AIDS for the time. But I don't think it was like, now if it was a recurring theme of her running around, if she didn't kill, if she killed all of her victims that way, then I would give it that. But
yeah,
got two, Nikki. Put Death by Temptation on the board.
Yeah.
Y'all got two on the board. Y'all got two. Now we are going to get into our horror trivia segment. And let's see how much you ladies know your horror trivia.
Oh, Lord.
Tyra.
Oh, hell. Yeah.
John Carpenter wrote in the role of Frank specifically for Keith David in the movie They Live. Is this true or is this false?
Oh, Lord. I really don't know. Because, he had worked with Keith David already on the thing. So they could have been, real chummy. But they don't be writing stuff for a brother. I'm gonna go with false. I'm gonna go with false.
See how politics play a role in your answer? Okay, so
is it true? It's false. What's wrong?
This is true. John Carpenter was so impressed with Keith David's performance in The Thing. Subsequently, he wrote the role of Frank specifically for David as someone who would not be a traditional sidekick, but could hold his own.
I knew he was down. You can't watch Season of the Week and not be down. I knew it. She just went with it. Okay.
Shout out to Keith David. Love him so much. Yep. Sister Girl, which actor has a cameo in the 1978 remake Invasion of the Body Snatchers? Is it A, Robert Duvall, B, Sidney Poitier, or C, Sylvester Stallone?
So considering I've never seen this movie before, I'm going to just take a wild guess and say Sidney Poitier.
Tyra, this is one of your favorite movies. Do you have a guess?
C.
Sylvester Stallone.
I think so.
The answer is A, Robert Duvall. The scene with the priest on the swing, that is Robert Duvall.
Is it?
Yes.
Tyra was one of her favorite movies, and she didn't even know that answer.
I didn't. I just know Sylvester was out there trying to keep his head above water and making cornrows back in the day. I thought he might just have been back as an extra, and we just missed him.
Yep, he plays the crazy priest that's playing on the swing. Yep, that is Robert Duvall.
You do.
And I've seen that movie 1,100,000 times. I didn't realize it was him.
I swear. I was looking at Donald Sutherland, what I'm supposed to be doing. Ain't nobody looking for that man.
Tyra, which actress was supposed to play Helen in Candyman? A. Sandra Bullock, B. Jodie Foster, or C. Michelle Pfeiffer?
Okay, I feel like Jodie was outside a little bit too much, and she was kind of in a position in her career. I just feel like Candyman would have been like below her station a little bit for the time. Michelle Pfeiffer, 92. I'm gonna go with A.
You would be correct. On the DVD commentary, Alan Paul said that had Virginia Madison been unavailable, the part of Helen would have gone to the then unknown Sandra Bullock. She was the second running up for that role.
Keyword unknown. See, I already knew that was a choice of a role.
Can you imagine Sandra Bullock as Helen in Candyman?
No, oh my God, Jesus.
Absolutely not.
Love Sandra, but not for that movie. No.
I love, what was that movie she did with the Net? Now I've seen The Net at nauseam. I've probably seen the movie 100,000 times.
I love that movie.
But yeah, I cannot see her as Helen. Sister Girl, Hilary Swank auditioned for the role of Roach in The People Under the Stairs. Is that true or is that false?
Hilary Swank.
Do you know who that is?
Of course. Was she all? I'm trying to think how old she would be. The character of Roach. Hilary Swank. Oh, I feel like this is a trick question. I'm gonna say false.
This is true. Hilary Swank auditioned for the role of Roach. Roach was originally written to be either a male or a female.
I felt like this was a trick question because low key she kind of looked like she could have been Roach, but I was like, that sounds mean.
What does that even mean?
Cause she was in that one movie, what was it, Boys Don't Cry?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so that's why I thought this was a trick question.
Yeah, don't take me back to Boys Don't Cry.
Yeah,
That movie was traumatizing.
It's such a hard movie to watch. Yeah.
But now I cannot see Sandra Bullock as Helen, but I feel like I would absolutely I can see Hilary Swank as Roach under them stairs with her tongue chopped off. I can see that. Chop her hair off, chop her little tongue off. She could have played that role. I can see it.
Yeah.
Tyra.
Oh Lord. Uh-huh.
Why you gotta say oh Lord?
Because I be getting stuff wrong.
What is George A. Romero's favorite film in his original Dead trilogy? Is it A, the 1968 Night of the Living Dead, B, the 1978 Dawn of the Dead, or C, the 1985 Day of the Dead?
B.
Oh Lord, hold on. Where's my answer? What answer did you just say?
I said B.
It's C. It's Day of the Dead 1985. On a special edition DVD, director George A. Romero claims Day of the Dead 1985 as his favorite film in the original Dead trilogy.
It's cute or whatever. It ain't the best one. I think the one that's in his bag the most and like right in the pocket when we're getting into like social commentary and themes is Dawn of the Dead, because that's the one where everybody winds up at that mall. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Which would you say is your favorite out of the original Dead trilogy?
I'll say A.
Same.
Yeah.
What about you, sister girl?
A for sure. I was thinking Dawn of the Dead, but I actually like the remake a little bit more than the original.
Man,
yeah.
Zombies look all blue purple. The hues just, I don't like the hues on the zombies that much.
But another interesting thing I discovered when I was trying to find this trivia, he actually had the idea for Land of the Dead, but he didn't have the budget. That's how we got Day of the Dead. I thought that was pretty interesting. because he didn't want them in that little bunker underground. He wanted that closed off city that we got in Land of the Dead, but the budget couldn't do it. Sister Girl. Now you was a thug back in the day, beating men up. So I know this rapper question is for you. Which rapper sampled Tales from the Hood on their album? They sampled a scene from Tales from the Crypt. You know how they, not Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Hood. You know how you take a line from the movie and put it in your song? Was it Jay-Z? Was it Run DMC? Or was it DMX?
I don't know what line would have been sampled, but just based on these suggestions, my only logical guess would be DMX.
Well, she a thug to her core because that is absolutely correct. Crazy K's repeated line, I don't give a fuck, what he kept saying, is sampled in the DMX song Where My Dog's At from the album It's Dark and Hell Is Hot. Shout out to that album. That's a great album.
Yeah. DMX. You know what's interesting? Like when you put DMX up there and I thought about the cover of that album, I was like, it kind of gives Tales from the Hood vibes. And that's another thing that kind of made me think of that. It gives a little bit of horror. I don't know why, but I'm glad
it does.
You should at least let her chase it. Run DMC. That's what
Had you had like Bone Thugs and Harmony up there, then I would have been like,
somebody Run DMC. My Adidas put it. Yeah,
right.
And that was our horror trivia segment. Y'all actually did good. Y'all actually did good on that one.
Hey.
And now we are going to get into guess the movie by the tagline. And make sure you guys comment in the chat whatever you feel like the answer is. And if you are not familiar with guess the movie by the tagline, it's kind of self-explanatory. I give you a tagline from a movie. I give you 3 movie options. And you tell me which movie goes with the tagline. I am going to start with you, Tyra.
Oh, man. Oh, no.
We have the tagline, the dead have waited, the day has come. Is this from the movie Alive, The Horde, or Day of the Dead? Now, have you seen these 3 movies?
Now, you know when you go into the Redback District, I ain't seen The Horde. Where you get that from?
Oh, my God. Yo, Tyra, I think you would like The Horde. It is a French horror zombie movie. It is so good.
Well, okay, the dead have waited. The day has come.
They're all zombie movies.
Okay, I feel like Alive is a little bit too relevant and recent for that. It seems a little dated, and The Horde looks a little current too. So I'm gonna go with Day of the Dead.
You are correct.
Oh,
it is the tagline.
Nikki.
That is the tagline for George A. Romero's Day of the Dead. And of course, it ties into our trivia question and our overarching theme for the day. So,
you see, I was over there on your wavelength. I was.
Sister Girl, we have the movies Slither, Mimic, and The Substance. The tagline is horror has a new face. Which movie do you think goes with this tagline? And of course, first, have you seen all 3 movies?
I have seen one of the 3, but I'm familiar with all.
What's the one you've seen?
I've seen Mimic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I give you some respect for that one.
Horror. See, I had to say it in like how an announcer would say it in a movie trailer, and it's giving like 90s horror has a new face. That's how I heard that in my head. So with that in mind, I'm thinking Mimic.
That is incorrect. It is Slither.
I remember that. Oh, I remember that. Man, I'm going to the movies.
Oh, you remember that tagline? Yes. Is that how the announcer said it? Horror has a new face.
It's pretty close. It's pretty close. I was like, I remember this was like all the rage. Like I remember going to the movies to see it. Nobody else went because he bummed, but I went to the movies to see it.
You know what? 3 people saw it in the theaters. Me, Tyra, and my mama. I do not know why some movies bomb. Slither, and I don't even go up for horror comedy. That's my least favorite subgenre. Slither is good as hell.
It is so funny.
And
I
it's
feel like I've
sufficiently
seen it.
disgusting.
Now that y'all say, what year did it come out?
I think this was early 2000s, Tyra.
Yeah.
I feel like I
Yeah.
may have
07,
seen
something like
this. What's it about? I need to look it up.
Now, see, I thought I would trip y'all up by putting the substance in here. I thought y'all would think that because she got, a new face.
No, I kind of use Tyra's logic with like the tagline sounding kind of dated. So in the substance is new. So the substance tagline would have been like #follow the new face of horror or something, you know?
Not hashtag. Tyra, we have the 3 movies: The Girl with All the Gifts, 10 Cloverfield Lane, and Prometheus. I don't have to ask you because I know you've seen all 3 of these.
Yes, I have, sadly.
Well,
no, not sadly.
Not sadly.
Never mind.
No, which movie gets the sadly? Is it Prometheus?
No, all of them. I mean, Prometheus is the sadly in the bunch, but yeah. All of Prometheus isn't, awful, but it's awful.
Our tagline is "Our greatest threat is our only hope." Which movie goes with this tagline?
I really don't know. It don't give me Prometheus. Gifts just feels too on the nose. Our greatest threat is our only hope. But that's the only film where I feel like there's air like hope, because the saving complex. You even got a partially white savior over there. Nobody would say our greatest threat is our only hope. 10 Cloverfield Lane, because he didn't lie. He was crazy, but he was telling the truth. It feels like this goes with Girls with All the Gifts.
That is correct. And remember our overarching theme of politics and horror. I said a white savior. It's always political.
Okay. Let me
and I said all black horror is political. So The Girl with All the Gifts.
Prometheus. It was just stupidity over there in Prometheus. Everybody was dumb. So I was like, what is the hope?
Well, see, I thought Prometheus would trip y'all up because they was what was them god-like people? What did they call them?
Girl, I don't know. I forgot that.
Was it the creators? Oh, y'all, what did they call them people that was looking for Prometheus? I think it was
that man was fine before he started tripping. That's all I remember. He was a fine specimen. Then he went off poisoning waters and stuff. I said, oh no.
I don't think Prometheus is as bad as people make it out to be. Like, yeah, they're idiots, but now we have Red Rooms, Late Night with the Devil, and Oddity. So all current movies. And our tagline is "Every murder lives on." Sister Girl on film. First, of course, have you seen all 3 movies?
No, I've never seen Red Rooms.
It's okay, Sister Girl. No, nobody saw Red Rooms.
Okay.
You know what? Yeah. This is also a French horror film.
Oh, okay.
That a lot of people made their number 1 favorite of 2024. Thank you, Tyra.
I saw it. I just didn't watch. I heard about it in the streets, but I didn't watch it. I'll check it out.
Are you familiar with Late Night with the Devil and Oddity?
Yeah, I really liked Late Night with the Devil, and I'm familiar with Oddity. I have not seen it yet, but I've seen a lot of commentary on it.
Okay.
But Red Rooms, I have no idea anything about.
I went to the movies to see this one as well.
So, well, you kind of got the odds stacked against you because you're only familiar with 1 movie. But basically, Red Rooms and Oddity deals with the murder. Late Night with the Devil, So, which movie is your best guess that goes with the tagline "Every murder lives on"?
I'm gonna go with, based on what I know, my guess is Oddity.
How the hell do y'all have cheat cards back there? How did you get that?
My brain.
Right. She right. I know she right.
My brain. Now, I just guess based on the synopsis of what I've heard about what Oddity is about, it just made sense. I have never seen Rare Rooms, and you said it's French. I was like, I feel like the French would have a more like, I don't know, catchy tagline, and I knew that wasn't a tagline for Late Night with the Devil. So,
And of course, I feel like we have a bit of a political theme in Oddity with that damn insane asylum and that cricket behind doctor. So I made it fit some type of way. Tyra. Never Let Go, Bird Box, The Descent.
Now, of course, it's one. I know all three of these movies.
I knew the answer to the last one. I don't know this.
Never Lose Sight of Survival. Which movie goes with this tagline? And I don't have to ask because I know you saw all three.
Oh yes, I shall never let go, child. I don't know. The Descent it doesn't give Never Lose Sight of Survival. I don't remember because Bird Box was like really big when it came out. I don't remember that being a tag. Never Let Go, Never Lose Sight. I don't know. That's so generic. I really don't know. Okay. I watched Never Let Go. That was pretty recent. I definitely don't remember that. It seems way too generic for the things in The Descent. It's between Bird Box and Never Let Go. Just for how generic it is, and for Bird Box being on Netflix and not being a theatrical release, it's just so hard. I feel like I'm on Jeopardy. Like I got some money. I'm gonna go with Bird Box. Yes,
that is correct.
For real?
Yeah. Not for fake.
Give me some money, girl. Give me some money.
Do y'all remember the craze when Bird Box came out? Like everybody, I hated that movie, but everybody was going up for Bird Box. Am I the only person on planet Earth that watched the Bird Box sequel?
I watched it.
Didn't know they had one.
I watched it. It was choices were made.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
It didn't get all the hype Bird Box.
Is it called Bird Box 2? Literally?
It's called Bird Box Barcelona.
Oh.
that's a dig already. Bird Box Barcelona. Right over there with Dirty Dancing, Havana Nights. Nobody wants to see that.
Oh my God. And that was our Guess the Movie by the Tagline segment. And of course, getting into our conversation of, the argument, politics has no place in horror. Well, first of all, politics in horror isn't anything new from movies like Society, Day of the Dead, They Live. We have always had politics and horror. Those are all 80s movies. The Stepford Wives, Dawn of the Dead, The People Under the Stairs. So from the 70s, 80s, 90s, we have politics in horror. So I don't know where y'all getting y'all information from. It's always been around. The Stuff, The Land of the Dead, Chud, that, they'll mess with them homeless folks, just like in They Live. So politics in horror is, of course, nothing new. It has always been in horror. It will always be in horror. And leaving our politics and horror conversation, the conversation that I feel like we have had multiple times on Killer Con, because why do people keep saying this? So Joe Russo came out and said, I had dinner with a Sony executive this week who said they wish Heart Eyes would have a good hold against Captain America. I said I thought it would. It not only held, it made even more money in its second weekend. I guess what I want to ask is horror finally back? Why the hell do they ask this question literally like every 7 months? About every 7 months, they ask, is horror finally back? And y'all already know my stance. If you are asking, is horror back, baby, you don't know horror. Horror has never left to be back. Sister girl, why do you think we keep having this same conversation? Is horror finally back? Why do these people keep questioning, is horror finally back because like a movie does well?
I guess maybe it's because what people find to be enjoyable in horror, maybe they feel like it's lost its way in some way, I guess. Like when elevated horror happened, and I think that's when the last time this conversation came up. I don't know why that happens, because yeah, I agree, horror hasn't left. It just keeps, evolving and changing into something else. And I don't know if maybe because Hard Eyes is like a slasher horror comedy, and maybe that's what Joe Russo likes to see. I don't know, but it is very odd that would, it's like when people say R&B is back. uh where to go? I didn't
I
know
hate
that
that
about.
argument too. Oh my god,
Well,
bring back real R&B.
it's here. It's here. All right. I have a whole playlist. What are we talking about?
Like if y'all don't just go outside.
Yeah, that part.
Tyra, do you think there will ever be a time when horror will legitimately go away and we can actually say, is horror finally back? Or do you think horror is just here to stay and these bumbling fools just haven't figured it out yet?
Horror has horror has like become kind of almost back to the 80s where we're getting so much of it because it's a cash grab at this point. Because
Hmm.
it used to be skittish or kind of that distasteful genre, like I don't do horror, I do this genre of film. We get so much of it in abundance that it's hard that is so hard to find the good films because you have to go through so many bad films to go, oh, this was actually good because we have so much of it. So I don't know if it's a choice of it being back. I really think that's like a promo tactic now to kind of cause an uproar. What do you mean it's back? Like horror's back with my film, just to get people interest and peak, like, oh well, let me go see why horror's back and why it's so good, especially with Hard Eyes. Like Sister Girl said, Hard Eyes or even Terrifier, these are slashers. And I think with everything being more so elevated now, and us getting away, like, yeah, this ain't no A24. This is the bare bones of horror. These are slashers, they're bloody, and we're killing people. Horror's back, where we're stepping away from the elevated situations. I think they're saying in those terms where we're not afraid to push and go there, and we're not trying to be extra, I don't know what do you want to call these horrors now. They're not, because they're not just elevated, because I don't like the term because we always had elevated horrors. These horrors are more so
Pretentious?
pretentious, and we're getting more into the visual stylings, and ooh, did you see that? And oh, we're gonna stare at a pencil on the desk for hours on it. Like, what? Can we hurry up? Like where you would see film I also love, where you would have something like Hereditary versus a Terrifier. It's like, yeah, here we go, we getting back to I love me some 80s. We're getting back over there, where we're not scared to push boundaries, and we're not just getting these one notes of what we think horror is. We're getting back to we just want to see some bloody kills on screen, and that's fine. But I don't think horror ever went anywhere to say that.
Yeah, it hasn't. Why Benny crying? What you do to him?
I'm gonna go open the door.
Do we need to call Child Protective Services on Tyra when it comes to
My son. He's love. What are you talking about?
when it comes to little Benny over there crying? We got proof. We got the audio of him crying.
When is he not crying? He cried because the sun came up. Leave my dog alone.
Polly Latino Slant, $4.99 super chat for, is this Tyra? Tyra, is this you?
Yes, in your trailer voice. Oh, okay. Oh. In a world where worlds are worlds, comes a new voice in the world of horror. Thank you, Poppy.
You know what? That actually feels like a good tagline for like some type of. You know what? Where the Wayans at for the new scare movie? There go your tagline.
All the best ones in the world. It's like, oh, what? You were here.
Yo, what happened to that guy? Because we don't get the
I
trailer
don't
voice no more.
know. I think it's passe now to have the voiceovers, and all of a sudden I got 5 on it. All right, we're gonna do a remix and everything to give us our horror or play with a beloved song. We're not getting that man speaking, but the man used to make you sit up like today. Like, oh my god, it's a call to action. What?
I think you said something good though. I think this is a marketing ploy at this point. The is horror finally back. Like they want it attached to their movie. I just like it's so like it literally boils my like it irks me so bad. And mark my words, in another 6 months we're gonna the same. They did it with Late Night with the Devil. Like every time we turn around, I swear, like every 6 to 7 months, there's is horror back because of X movie. But now we are going to get into our horror versus segment. So let's go ahead. And we already know the overarching theme for the day. Sister Girl, Tales from the Hood versus Night of the Living Dead. Which one do you have coming out on top?
Oh my gosh, really? And this is the OG, like Night of the Living Dead, huh?
Yeah, this isn't the 90s one. This is the original 1968.
Why you got to do? Why you got to do? Wait, Tales from the Hood. Okay, let me think of. Okay, let me think. I'm watching TV. Ooh, TV Guide. Okay, Tales from the Hood is on. Ooh, or Night of the Living Dead. Tales from the Hood. I'm gonna go with Tales from the Hood. I love the original Night of the Living Dead. I love it down. But Tales from the Hood, listen, I'm gonna have a good time. It has a lot of quotables for me. It's entertaining. I don't like the last story with Crazy K.
Oh, you don't?
Because to me, that's a great example of like overhand, like it's you slap me in the face with the message. That's the only one, and that's the only reason, and I still don't hate it. So I'm gonna go with Tales from the Hood.
And it's interesting you say that because my next question was going to be, which movie do you think handled their political themes better? So I'm assuming you're going to say Night of the Living Dead.
Handled it better.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't say that because I don't know the themes and Tales from the Hood. I resonated more with that than maybe Night of the Living Dead. So I'm still gonna say Tales from the Hood. I get what Night of the Living. I still love Night of the Living Dead. I'm put it on the case, but it's Tales from the Hood for me. Yeah.
So if you think the Crazy K story was too heavy-handed, you don't think the story with the white cops killing that black Martin Luther King type character that wasn't heavy-handed?
Martin Luther King.
No, well, see, here's why Crazy K was overhand. Well, it was too much for me. It was the deprivation chamber, that scene, and how long the scene went with the gangs members in the shooting. We get it. I get what you're saying. I don't need you to play the whole track from the soundtrack for me to get it, because I feel like that's really what it was. Now, y'all gonna hear this whole song because they literally looped the same scenes over and over again, and I'm like, I'm done with it. So yeah, so I don't feel like the cops was heavy handed, because I feel like it was relevant. It's still relevant to today. So yeah, and I feel like it needed to be really in our face, unfortunately. But the Crazy K thing, it was too much for me.
And you know what? You said that deprivation chamber. The only part for me that was too much was the white guy, the racist guy next to him, talking about you doing the work for me. Like I'm sitting here like that was
heavy-handed. It was so much. Him punch him in the face, him licking the blood spit. It was too much. Yeah, no.
Tell me, what was the skin color of the ones you killed? Like I was like, okay, bro.
Yeah.
Like we get it.
Yeah.
He helping the racist man agenda.
Right. You see what I'm saying? We get it. Let's move on.
But it wasn't the deprivation, because they did play that little collage over and over again. It was just that white man. I was like, okay, child. Tyra, which movie is coming out on top for you?
Girl, oh yes, the shit, the doo doo. We going over there with Tales from the Hood, okay? Tales from the Hood is undisputedly black. I'm gonna go over there every time. We're Not of the Living Dead doesn't even want to admit at the aspect of a message in the end. Tales from the Hood is in your face. I love every single story, including the Crazy Kate story.
So which movie do you think handled its political themes the best?
I'm gonna say Tales from the Hood because they admitted they have one. Like I don't have time. Like why are we ignoring the big factor whether the role was intended for Dwayne Jones or not? Once he got there, it became political. Like not only we protecting this white woman, this hysterical white woman who is not helpful,
Right.
always bringing the brother down. You know, that's happening there. We have, the situation with the man upstairs and the downstairs and the push and pull there where nobody wants to listen to him, not only because it's another man, but it's a black man. And you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And it's safer for us to do this. All of that. And we have him, the mob come out at the end, and we're not gonna. Oh, it had a message. We didn't even. No. I'm not gonna play with you, George. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go over here with Tales from the Hood every time with Rusty Khadif.
And you know what? For me, I would have to pick Night of the Living Dead for both because rewatch value for me, Night of the Living Dead has a higher rewatch value. I absolutely love and adore Tales from the Hood. I think that is a great film from top to bottom. I'm still mad that the lady, I can't think of her name, but y'all know the actress that always play a big mouth ghetto black woman who is getting abused in Tales from the Hood. She is that her name?
No, Paula J. White.
Paula J.
White. Thank you. She is such a really like classically trained actress, and it pisses me off to this day that she is just relegated to the ghetto role 9 times out of 10 when you see her. I think Tales from the Hood is literally like immaculate. Obsessed. But the one I rewatched the most is Night of the Living Dead. Like I watched the movie ad nauseum, and I also prefer the way the political themes are handled in Night of the Living Dead. Even though, like you said, George want to act up too. Tales from the Hood. Why do I keep calling it Tales from the Crib? Tales from the Hood is in your face, overt, and I think it should be.
I can say it should be.
Yes, but for me, I prefer the subtlety of it in Night of the Living Dead, where, like you said, we have this push and pull, and I feel like it comes off as I ain't listening to a black man. Like you said, like all the themes in there, I feel like it's just kind of bubbling under the surface. And for me, that subtlety works, even though it's subtle, because George say he blind, he know.
I think we just feel that way now because hindsight is 2020. If you think about the social climate, this is 94, 95. Like I think it was a need for it to be overhanded, even with the Crazy Kate story. Like, hey, stop killing each other. Like it was, if this is a message that's going to help somebody who sees it, let it be that all the way down to the deprivation situation. I like how heavy-handed it is, and it translates even now. Like I can, throw on the Tales from the Hood, child. My babies ain't sitting for Night of the Living Dead.
Right.
I was saying through Night of, and I don't do the older movies, and the only black and white movies I do is Night of the Living Dead and the original The Blob. But I was literally like a little kid obsessed with Night of the Living Dead, like to no degree. But that's coming out on top for me personally. Tyra, we have Dawn of the Dead versus the 80s remake The Blob. Which movie is coming out on top for you?
Girl, I know we here for the political of it all, but The Blob for special effects. Okay, I'm going over there. The Blob is classic. Like we made that man go down the drain pipe, down the sink. He was just devoured when it's just so good. Like just for the special effects of it all and what The Blob actually looked like and grew to and how gruesome it was, and it was just great. We love a little alien situation. The government always trying to come in and take over something. Meanwhile, they're trying to capture it and exploit it and use it for their ill-gotten gains. I'm gonna go over there with The Blob. Dawn of the Dead. I enjoy Dawn of the Dead, but I definitely revisit The Blob more.
And since you've already named a bunch of the political themes in The Blob, which movie do you think handled its political themes the best?
It's definitely Dawn of the Dead, but for me, I have to pick The Blob. Dawn of the Dead really handled it. I think it was very different at the time to have all these dead zombies this was in the mall era, like back when the mall was like, oh, all this consumer, y'all going to the mall, we're spending all this money, all the capitalism. So to have these people be dead, but still have remnants of real life and all gravitate towards this mall because this is where we spent so much time because we're spending so much money. The message was very on point there. But the Blob is gonna win every time for the drain scene, the boyfriend in the hospital in a telephone booth.
Okay, so I'm gonna veer a bit off topic. So speaking of in the mall with Dawn of the Dead, which movie horror movie that takes place in the mall do you think is best? Dawn of the Dead, the original, or Chopping Mall?
I'm a very big fan of Chopping Mall. I'm gonna go with Chopping Mall. I don't care who I think about it. I like Chopping Mall. I do.
That just popped in my head because that is a movie Tyra recommended to me last year. I love Chopping Mall. So that just popped in my head when you were talking about the mall and the times and Dawn of the Dead. Sister Girl, on film, which movie is coming out on top for you? Dawn of the Dead, the original, or the Blob 80s remake?
It's for me, it's easy. It's Dawn of the Dead. I haven't seen the Blob in I can tell you how long. It's been a long time. So that just says a lot for me. But Dawn of the Dead, this one and the remake, I just watched Dawn of the Dead recently. And I just love it. I am a huge fan of zombie movies though. So I'm kind of biased. Like, I don't care good, bad. I don't care if it's low budget. It could be somebody with their cell phone in the parking lot and they done made it. I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna have a good time. So definitely Dawn of the Dead.
You know what? You speaking my language now because I love the zombie subgenre and I feel like you. I don't care if it's generic. I don't care if it's bad effects. Like I just love a zombie movie. Girl, look.
Yeah, love them.
And which movie do you think handle its political themes the best? Well, you can't really remember the Blob, so
Yeah. And quiet as kept. I don't even remember a political theme in the Blob, but when Tyra said it, I said, oh, okay, I didn't, because again, it was so long since I've seen it. So obviously, I'm gonna have to go with Dawn of the Dead by default.
For me, my first true love is the Blob. That was one of the first horror movies I ever saw in my life was the Blob 80s remake. I am obsessed with that movie. That movie stays on rotation for me. I watch it constantly. I think it is perfect. And what's funny though, my opinion would have been different had I not recently rewatched the original Dawn of the Dead. Now, Dawn of the Dead for me is like the Blob for you, Sister Girl. I hadn't seen Dawn of the Dead original in like 100 years. Like I hadn't seen it in forever, but I always raved about it. I recently rewatched it and honestly, I hate that movie. I really did not enjoy it at all. That white woman got on my last nerves. Like I wanted to smack fire on her. She was so useless. They might as well have had the Annabelle doll in there instead of her. Like she was so useless and whiny and aggravating. I could not stand her. Then at the very end, when the black guy is more concerned with saving the white lady and he finna just let himself just die, I was like, what the hell is we doing? Of course he eventually changes his mind and goes up, but why do we even have to do that? Like, I don't know. It irks my nerves. And one of my favorite death scenes used to be the guy who puts his arm in that little thing. But I watched it. I said, man, it's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Stupid.
Yeah, I don't even know how. I had to watch that scene a couple times. I'm like, how did we get here? Like, why did his arm? Like, did he trip and fall into the? Like, how did we get here?
My arm in here, nobody will see me.
Right.
What are you doing?
And I'm sorry, but a movie, I don't care how cool the death scene is. I don't care how cool the effects. If it's just nonsensical, I don't like it.
Yeah.
And the one that handles the political themes the best for me is the Blob because the military is evil. Like I love like Tyra said, the government coming in wanting to exploit something, use it for, don't care nothing about the citizens. That's just gonna always resonate for me. And this is Black History Month. We got a black villain in the Blob, which is very rare in horror. Okay, he was working for the man, so it's some more political themes up in there. But
man.
The Blob is just on Mount Rushmore of horror movies for me, though. I love The Blob.
I just love it. The Blob was killing kids. Killed them kids. Absolutely.
I need to go back and watch it. No.
Tyra always want the little chitlins to die.
I mean, I can't disagree.
I mean, the horror movie mean business when we kill a kid.
I'll be mad when they in there. Why are you here? You're gonna get all of us killed. Yeah.
Well, I know we might have a winner by default because you haven't seen Killjoy. So who coming out on top for you, sister girl? Killjoy or Master?
A winner by default. I don't know why you thought that. You must have not seen my review of The Master. Baby, you could have had a blank screen up here and said The Master versus question mark. I'm going question mark. I don't know what's behind that question mark, but I know what I'm not behind. Master. The way I hate this movie. Child. Killjoy. Killjoy, period.
I cannot. Well, I guess you know what they say about assumptions. I shouldn't have assumed.
No.
So I guess you don't think Master handled its political themes very well.
Girl. The rage I felt watching that movie, and not the way they wanted me to experience it. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No. Killjoy. What was the political thing? It did it better.
Tyra, which movie is coming out? Why are you shaking your head?
Girl, cause same. Why you got this up here? The drop in my heart, and y'all know I love when I get a paid review and you guys purchase something, and I was like, oh, I got a new purchase. Somebody paid for Master. I was like, please be something else. I was like, oh hell no. Why you want to pay for this? I don't want to talk about this. I really didn't like this movie. I really didn't like this movie. It's not something I care to revisit or watch. I don't know what the hell was political about Killjoy, but I'm gonna go over there with it. And all the poor special effects of it all. I'm gonna go over there with the green screen shots. I'm a shots to the chest. I'm gonna go over there because Master was just a letdown. It could have meant something, getting into having your master's degree, actually having a master, be a master at this institution, and just old school massa. We didn't cover them things, okay? It just didn't track well, and I wanted better for Regina and that black girl who met her in. I don't want to see it again. Thank you.
Tyra, which movie is y'all killed me with Master. Which movie is coming out on top for you? The Stuff versus Day of the Dead.
Oh, The Stuff. I love The Stuff. That was probably like the first, I guess, real horror I saw just watching horrors as a kid, and it really gave me an understanding of what like consumerism was and advertisement, and had me like maybe think twice of like, why are you guys pushing this so hard about what you're putting in your body and the messaging that can really have you buy into something that's harmful to you. And I think it's done really well. I think it's executed so well to that it translated here in the 70s, and you can run that now. You can still speak to a lot of the things that are pushed on us, and we just buy because we see it so often. Meanwhile, you got the stuff and you about to die. I'm gonna go with The Stuff.
Do you feel like you're a consumer that's really easily susceptible to the marketing of products?
Okay. No, no. I'm like, that doesn't even sound convincing. No, no. I really don't. I think maybe before, but as you get older and you have these children, I don't need that. That's how that happened. I don't need that. What am I gonna do with that later? I don't need that. Maybe in my 20s, Tyrone in her 30s. I don't need that.
You know what I am very, very easily susceptible to is the damn content creators, all the hair girlies that I'll be watching. I waste so much money buying different hair products, like seeing what all the girlies is you. I'd be susceptible to sell because let one black girl say, oh, and I got the 4C hair and this worked the wonders for me. Babe, I'm gonna go pick it up. I'm gonna go buy it. I be so easily susceptible, and my friend always be, "Why are you buying all these products?" I don't even use the whole product. I'm always just throwing it out. Child, it's a sickness, really. It's a sickness. Sister girl, which movie is coming out on top for you, The Stuff or Day of the Dead?
So, I haven't seen either of these, but if the stuff is about like blatant like consumerism and things like that, I would probably say I would be more. Let me look at it from this aspect. Which one would I be more willing to watch? I would probably say the stuff because I do love zombie movies. I do, but I feel like if I'm looking for something political in a sense, I'm gonna go towards like consumerism because I think it's really interesting and relatable.
Oh, absolutely. Because let me tell you, them hair girlies get me every time. They get me every time. Damn y'all, and y'all use my code.
Yeah, I get got by the gadget people. If you give me electronic, give me a robotic sweeper. Ooh, okay. You gonna give me every time. Watch me organize my refrigerator. Like, ooh, I need those. Yeah, that's me for sure.
Tyra, which movie is coming out on top for you? Society versus the Stepford Wives.
Definitely the Stepford Wives, but I just love Society for the body horror of it all. Society is extremely 80s. Extremely 80s. Like, it's so over the top and it's hysteria over there. It's wild. But it's gonna be the Stepford Wives. That's a genre of horror where we're getting into feminism and us you wanting we're in the era of can you replace me with a bot? Can opt for some synthesized lover, some Rubbermaid machine over having a natural born woman, girlfriend, man, or everything is getting so advanced that's always kind of like an era of this could definitely happen. We could get there. And there's always a shortcoming of, man not feeling valued, not feeling this, not feeling that, or even a woman. If I could just tweak this one thing about, my wife or whomever, we'd all be a whole lot happier. So the Stepford Wives is definitely a superior film, especially when we're getting into themes that translate then all the way till now, which is why we keep seeing the remake of the Stepford Wives or something like Don't Worry, Darling. It's always going to be there. They're going to continue to kind of remake Stepford Wives. Society, not so much because it's gross. It's gross, but I like the grossness because I like body horror.
And you know what? We're not even gonna acknowledge that mess of a film that Nicole Kidman, Stepford Wives remade. I ain't even finna acknowledge Don't Worry, Darling, and that mess of a film. Now I have never seen Society, but I will be doing a watch along tonight after KillerCon of Society for my first time watch. So please join me for that. And make sure you join the Discord so that you can watch the movie with me. But Stepford Wives is GOAT. That's GOAT status. And again, talk about political themes. I think it is so. You cannot convince me that men would not choose the robot because look, I'm gonna choose. I said last time. I know we coming up on the age where we can. I want my robot boyfriend that I can program to do exactly what I want him to do and talk when I want you to talk and shut the hell up when I want you to shut the hell up. I'm picking my robot boyfriend. You cannot tell me that these men would not trade their wife in for their perfect robot girlfriend, but just also all the themes that just threaded in there when it comes to women and having their own autonomy, which is just so perfect for this time when you talk about taking away women's right to abortion and their bodily autonomy and furthering their education and all of those things. So Stepford Wives is just it has my heart. I love that movie. Sister girl, have you seen Society or have you seen the Stepford Wives?
I've seen Stepford Wives. I've seen the deadbeat kill count of Society. So by proxy, I feel like I've seen Society. So yes, yes, I have seen Society. And so with that in mind, I don't do body horror at all. My stomach can't take it. But I like the overall theme because again, I'm about elitist, kind of being called for the evil people that they are. But because of the body horror of it all, I would have to go with the Stepford Wives for sure.
Look, you on the right side of history, going with the Stepford Wives. Tyra, They Live versus Candyman. Which movie is coming out on top for you? And which movie do you think handled its political themes the best?
Oh man, They Live is very heavy-handed. Came here to kick ass and chew bubble gum. Like, ugh, ugly. Like, ugh. I love it. I love that y'all watched it because that scene of him and Keith David fighting for all of 35 minutes, like, hurry up. But as far as handling the themes, they both handle the themes really well. Where They Live is really overtly with the themes. Candyman is more subtle, getting into, more of the gentrification and racial politics and white saviors. All of those over there. But I love both of these films. This is a hard one. It's hard. Can you come back to me? I need more time to think about it. I really don't know because I really love both of these films. I even love, the overtness of They Live and the glasses of it all and the obey and everything, the consumerism topics.
So you think Candyman handled its themes right? Because Candyman makes me so angry because I feel like the whole backstory to Candyman, why was he
be rolling up, killing the whites, not the blacks?
Yes.
I still love the film. I still love the film. Not only are you rolling up, killing, terrorizing this poor Cabrini Green, but you fawning after this white woman, your long lost love. Like, oh, okay, brother, really? Daniel Robitaille, that's what you want to do? Since you want to, I'm gonna answer your question this time, and not just go with my preference in film. I'm gonna go with They Live.
I just feel like the messaging in Candyman is so backwards and crooked. Like, he in love with this white woman, got his hand chopped off and lynched because of it. Then he come back to hunt the black baby. We didn't do nothing. Why are you killing us? Sister girl, which movie is coming out on top for you? They Live or Candyman?
They Live. My issue with Candyman is your issue with Candyman, and people be coming at me because I'm like, I don't mess with Candyman. I really don't. Because really, if I really kind of get into it, to me, Candyman is just like a discussion about internalized racism. Because why did the formerly enslaved black man come and then attack the poor black folks at Cabrini Green projects?
Oh,
for that white lady.
He thought he was up there like enslaved. I am a painter. I went to the best.
Exactly. So he was. I got a white woman. I'm a painter. He probably was not really like it was a whole thing. And
I'm a descendant from the one who he was in the house, and we got out the house and we got some
right.
Food.
Right.
Am I not old white
story? And so I don't fool with Tim Scott, so I don't fool with Candyman. So They Live.
You know what? You speaking my language because I as much as folks go up for Candyman, I do not. I don't like that movie. I don't like the messaging.
What needed to be done, and we have a teaspoon of real horror villains. Y'all will not throw Tony on the ground.
I love Tony. I love Tony Todd. I wish they had written Candyman much different. I appreciate the remake. A lot of people don't like it. I liked it a lot because it did what I felt like the original was supposed to do.
Nah, I can't go that far.
I love it. That's it.
They got on my nerve with that remake. But that was our horror versus for this evening. And now we are going to get into our final segment, which is our viewer's choice. And if you need a reminder, let me remind you.
What's your pleasure, Mr. Cotton? Mr. Cotton.
Of your pleasure.
I feel like if I was going to make a horror movie with a political theme that matches the current state of the times, like mirror the times, I feel like my movie would be all about um a society, the effects of a forced birth society, like the effects of like absolutely no abortion, period, no elective abortion, and the effects of a forced birth society. Tyra, if you were going to make a political horror movie for that mirrors the times, what would the themes be for your horror movie? Because I feel like I just got to be over there with abortion. Like I just have to, like that's what would really stick to my gut when I think about the current state of the times. What would it be for you?
It will be the same if you want to stick to the current times, getting into more of the feminism aspects and women rights, because it seems like we're trying to revert to an old time of diminishing those things. So it'll probably be based around that. I feel like that's the strongest talking point right now.
And what was interesting to me, I tried to see, have we ever had a pro abortion horror movie? And we haven't. And I'm like, we've had some. Am I wrong?
No, nobody's making that.
That's why I'm like, where is that movie? And I'm like, I've seen, like, I forget the movie. What was, Natara, you might know. I think it was an 80s horror movie where a lady like put the fetus down the toilet and it turns and like mutates into like this creature. Like it's always like an anti-abortion agenda to a horror movie, but I've never seen a horror movie with a
movie is that?
Oh, you don't know that one? Oh, I just knew you know it's the 80s horror movie where the girl like puts the fetus, because I think she had, like, what is it? A miscarriage. I couldn't think of the word. She has like a miscarriage on the toilet or something, and the fetus goes into the sewer and it mutates and it starts killing everybody off. The suckling. Thank you.
That happens in the suckling?
The suckling.
Maybe it's
that's the creature that's killing everybody. The fetus mutates.
I don't think I saw that one too often because I definitely don't remember that.
Yeah, and then I just saw this Spanish horror movie from like the early 90s. The movie was a mess, called Baby Blood. And you have this alien that impregnates this woman against her will, I might add. The movie didn't seem to care about that. But she has this baby inside of her and she has to kill people and drink their blood for the baby. And it is very anti-abortion. Like the whole time she's telling the fetus, like, you're just a fetus, why should I care about you? And the baby's like, I deserve to live, I deserve the right to live, and you need to sacrifice so I could. And I'm just like, oh my god, the agenda is clear. But I'm like, we've never had a pro-abortion horror movie. But sister girl, if you were to make a horror movie right now that mirrored the times, the current political climate, what would the themes be for you?
Mine would probably be more along the lines of like a psychological, in the sense of like brainwashing through media and like parasocial relationships, and maybe like a serial killer that's
Swarm.
yeah, but more of like, less about like the person having this relationship with the celebrity where the celebrity is like unaware of like what's happening, but like the celebrity or the person is very much aware of the parasocial relationship and is like using that to like create people to do their killing for them in that way. So I think that would be something I would want to see.
Oh yeah, that would be fun because the way these hives and the I would say the menages, what are they?
Yeah,
I don't know.
The
barbs.
The hotties and Cardi B's and stuff. Like the fandoms are really, really insane. That's right up there with doxing them folks, and you kind of have the celebrities do have that like sicko mentality. Like I don't like it. And people are getting attacked. So that's up there. I would watch that.
Yeah, that actually sounds good. And I'm actually surprised that we haven't gotten more of that, particularly because Scream, which one was it? Scream 5, their whole motive was like, radicalized by like the fandom and the message
Mhm.
boards. And I feel like that is extremely relevant today when you think about the discourse in horror spaces and how people literally will get angry if like you don't like Halloween or something, like if you don't like their
Yeah.
franchise. I feel like that is so current and so relevant. And I'm extremely surprised that no one really jumped on that train after Scream, which I think it was Scream 5.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
Scream 4 is the one I hate with that little skinny girl. Scream 5. I'm surprised nobody jumped on that train. But I love your idea, the psychological horror, the brainwashing, especially because I ain't gonna call nobody out. But I got people around me that are such conspiracy theorists. Let them see one TikTok or one reel on Instagram and they gonna swell like, I just be like, child, I can't with the conspiracy theorists. But it's just mind-boggling to me how people just watch a video online and feel like they're extremely educated on something, or I'm just but I think that would be a great idea because people
Yeah.
fighting for their life in these fandoms.
Yeah, it's so weird. It's like I think the movie Don't Look Up, even though that's like sci-fi, not quite horror, but I feel like that was a great like example of that. Like the scientists are like, no, like the meteor is literally like, and then they're like, don't look up, this is propaganda, and they're like, don't look up. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's too far, and it felt really, really real.
Yeah. I love Don't Look Up. And what's interesting to me is I'm like, do the people watching Don't Look Up realize you're those folks? Like you're the people that will be falling for the propaganda and the asteroid would hit our asses.
Right. Yes.
But thank you ladies so much for joining me for our KillerCon live horror panel, our discussion on politics and horror. And after this, should nobody be walking around talking about politics don't belong in horror? Okay, educate yourselves. We done gave you a lot of movies for you to look into. And the military is evil. I'm always be on that side with it. If the world ends today, I'm running away from the guys in the fatigues. Okay.
True.
But we have a lot of stuff coming up on the channel, starting with tonight. I will be doing my first time watch of Society, the body. Now I love body horror. I go up for body horror. Absolutely obsessed. So we'll be getting into it. Now Tyra claim I'm gonna hate it because it's very 80s, but I'm actually kind of excited for it. I feel like the theme of the movie, the body horror of it, and I do say it's like comedy horror, which I'm like, I ain't really got time for the 80s comedy stick, but hopefully I will enjoy it. So make sure you come over with me for the watch along of Society and for access to see the movie with me. Make sure you join the Discord. I do have my Discord linked in my chat, and if you are a channel member, you can watch the movie with me in Discord. And every Tuesday and Wednesday, y'all know I don't commit, but if Tyron Ashley there, I'm gonna show up. But every Tuesday and Wednesday, me, Tyra, and Ashley from My Sweet Perspective, we are doing a retrospective watch and discussion of Lovecraft Country. You got time to catch up. We have only covered the first episode. So this Tuesday, we will be doing the live watch along of episode 2. And again, join the Discord and you can watch the episode. And then on Wednesday, we will have our live discussion breaking down the episode. Tyra, do you want to tell the people what you have coming up and how they can find you and all that other good stuff?
Y'all know where I'll be. Y'all know where I'm at. It's Monday. Mayfair Mondays. We are almost done, y'all. It has been a task talking about Mayfair. We will be discussing Mayfair tomorrow. Tuesdays are for mass. We get our live reaction about the hot mess that is Married at First Sight. As Nikki said, Tuesday and Wednesday is for Lovecraft. Not Tuesday. No, it is Tuesday because it's a double feature. Tuesday and Wednesday are for Lovecraft. So following Mass, we will be getting into the watch along for Lovecraft. And then that following Wednesday, we will have a live discussion about the episode and all the things we saw. Thursday, Ashley and I will be closing out our Black History Month segments. We will be getting into Josephine Baker and the story of Josephine Baker while also giving our Josephine Baker cosplay. Don't miss that. Fridays are for Flavor Flav right now. We are watching The Flavor of Love. We had a really, really good time watching the first 2 episodes this past Friday, so you do not want to miss that. And we may have something, surprise, some situation in store that following Friday. Of course, Saturdays are for Severance as well as our members only watch along. So we will be covering episode 6 and 7 of Severance this Saturday, and then we will be following it by the watch along. Of course, it's my week, and I chose Tales from the Hood. Become a member if you want to be a part of that. And Sunday we might be cooking up some other things too. But we did just do retrospective and discussion for Crooklyn earlier today, so be sure to go watch and support that.
And I forgot to mention the new HBO series, The Pit. I will be doing a watch party in the Discord for that on Monday. So make sure you join channel membership so you can get access to the watch party for the HBO series, The Pit. And Sister Girl on Film, let us know what you have going on and what you have coming up for your channel.
Yes, so Sister Girl on Films over here on the YouTube. I am just wrapping up Black History Month. So I am in mid editing for Living Large for a retro rewatch this week coming up. I will be doing a reaction to Get Out to wrap up Friday Night Friday for Black History Month. And the plan is to watch Kidnap with, I believe Kidnap is what we're going to watch. It could always change. Don't ever hold me to these things. But for Thriller Thursday. And then, ironically enough, starting in March, I will be doing a retro reality TV rewatch of, I think we voted for I Love New York. So, Tara, we just finished Flavor of Love Season 2 over on the channel. So now we're about to start I Love New York. So, yeah, that's what we got going on over here. A lot of stuff. Don't hold me to any of this though, because I'll be procrastinating. So there's that.
And go run up my Dorothy Dandridge video. I swear, if Dorothy don't at least get 5,000 views, y'all will never see me again.
And that's a threat.
No, it was a promise. It was a promise.
Paulie, I'm not hating on the skinny Latinas. The skinny girl I'm talking about is white in Scream 4. Jill. She's not Latina.
Nachos for you. We love nachos and tacos, okay? Probably always trying to.
Thank you guys so much for being here with us. And if you enjoy KillerCon, if you would like to see it come back on a regular basis, maybe we will make this an every Sunday thing. But you got to show up and support. So make sure you hit like on the video, comment down below. Let us know if you want KillerCon to come back on a weekly basis. And we will get out of here and maybe we'll see you in the next one.